Okay, today we are talking on IGTV about how to be consistent. Now, I read a lot of books about fear and focus separately, but of course they connect with each other. And I wrote a book called Find Your Focus because I had so many coaching clients asking me not only how do I focus, but how can I be consistent? You know, shiny object syndrome is a real thing, and we all experience shiny object syndrome. So, how do you get out of SOS, as I like to call it? How do you get out of squirrel? And how do you get to a place where you can be consistent? And on today's IGTV, I'm going to talk about that because consistency is king. You know how they say cash is king? Well, you don't get the cash if you're not consistent. Consistency is king. So what do you do to ensure that you are more consistent? Let me start by saying what you don't do. Number one, you don't focus on more than one or two. I used to say three, but I'm even pulling back the three. One or two major life goals at the same time. And in fact, if I were going to be an absolute drill sergeant about this, I would say one goal. Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, is an awesome read if you struggle with trying to pursue multiple big goals at the same time, because he will nip you in the bud by reminding you that your one thing is one thing. And you need to focus 4 hours a day on that one thing. So, since there are only 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week, and Congress is not going to add the 8th day anytime soon, it is really important to not focus on multiple goals. You will risk consistency in everything if you do not focus on your one thing. So don't go after multiple big goals. Keep it down to one or two, and be non-negotiable about the priorities that have to happen with that one goal. So what does that actually look like? So if you receive my daily email, I send out a daily dose of inspiration, which you can sign up for at KV Daily Dose. Oh, tinyurl.com/KV Daily Dose. I forgot the beginning. tinyurl.com/KV Daily Dose. You will get my daily emails. And what do I say in my daily emails? I'm constantly talking to my tribe about DMA. In other words, daily massive action. If you want to be consistent, then you've got to consistently deliver 7 days a week. I know people who are like, but what about Sunday and it's the Sabbath? Look, either you want to be consistent or you don't. So I'm a firm believer that frequency creates efficiency. So the more you do things every single day, the more efficient you become at it. And even missing 1 day a week affects your efficiency level. And the more efficient you are, the more productive you are. The more productive you are, the more consistently you're able to get stuff done. So what am I saying? How can you be consistent? Number one, pick one goal. One major goal that if you were to accomplish that one goal, it would literally make achieving every other goal that much easier to do. Two, once you pick that one goal, I want you to write out, get a big poster board paper. I don't know, I use steno pads all the time. Steno pads with pen. Write out all the steps it's going to take for you to get to that one goal. Do not get overwhelmed, please, by this. You need to know what your goal requires, so you write out all the steps. Three, and I got this from Brian Tracy, you then sequence and prioritize all of those steps. So what's got to come first, second, third, fourth, 20th, 50th, 60th, and you sequence them so you know what your next steps are. Then you've got to prioritize time on your daily schedule. Gary Keller in the book, The One Thing, says 4 hours a day, folks. 4 hours a day. Try to find 4 hours a day to pursue one goal. I'm just saying it can be done, but you've got to be super conscious about doing that. Then schedule time first thing. I don't care if you're a morning person. First thing is the best way to go because it's before everybody wakes up. It's before your day can get thrown off. First thing. Work on that goal. Give yourself, I'll be a little more lenient than Gary, give yourself 2 to 4 hours, 7 days a week to focus on that one thing and chip away at that sequenced priority list until you get to the dream. There it is. There's no secrets to consistency. There's no shortcuts to consistency. You know what it is? It's knowing what you really want. It's focusing on your one thing. It's creating a plan of activities and actions that must be taken to get to your one thing. It's sequencing them properly. It's scheduling a certain amount of time every single day to work on that one thing and just knocking it out every day until it's done. It is not pretty. It's not sexy, but it works.